Good afternoon. We are the Jackson Cemeteries group. My name is Sarah, and my group members are Anna and Cecilia. And for the past 4 months, we've been working with the Jackson Parks, Recreation, and Cemeteries Department. We decided that we needed to think about how the fact that Jackson has a very significant history in the general nation's history, and the cemeteries are a very important part of that. They're embedded with this rich history, which can be a great value to the citizens in this area, but also to the nation as a whole. So we wanted to answer the question of how can we make historical information about the cemeteries available to the public? So our project tried to create a way for this information to be out about the cemeteries, but also to encourage the exploration of the cemeteries to the people. And so much of the cemeteries information is in old deed books and log books, which Cecilia is holding up 2 examples of them. And as you can tell, they're in various conditions. We've picked some that really show how these are not in a sustainable condition, right? And in order to keep the information and to reduce the wear and tear that we go about when we're trying to find information in them, that we thought making digital images of these would be the best. And so here are some more examples of different ones. And most of them are handwritten in either ink or pencil. And so we thought making digital images of these would be the best solution. And not only would this preserve them and keep them safe from just handling, but it would also make them more accessible because they'd be no longer tied to a specific place, like the Parks and Recreation Department. And so we've gone out and we've started contacting experts in scanning and preserving rare books. And we have looked at what would happen once these are scanned. And so we think that once they're scanned, the images can then be used as a reference point, and then the books can be put into a safer place like a local museum. But this didn't really get to the heart of how do then citizens engage with the cemeteries and the information in the cemeteries. So we looked at directly engaging the community with this history in the cemetery. And we focused on the Mount Evergreen Cemetery because it has a special connection to the Civil War, the founding of the National Republican Party, and some very important Michigan leaders. And we also saw it as an underutilized space within the city. So we created, with the help of some local historians, what we call a history hunt. It's much like a scavenger hunt where teachers, students, families, local history enthusiasts can go out into the cemetery, walk around, and kind of find information about it. We've given some guidance about things to look for. We've created a small map that kind of gave a better sense of the layout and the markings of the cemetery. And we also kind of pinpointed some very some important people like Austin Blair, Ella Sharp, Colonel Charles Victor DeLand, who was one of the founding members of the Republican Party. And so we thought that by giving these people information, they can then explore and see what's really interesting about the Mount Evergreen. And then we decided it would be really great to bring this conversation online. So we asked them to kind of go onto Facebook page of the Parks, Recreation, and Cemeteries Department and leave a comment or a question about the cemetery. Not only would this then bring about some interesting ideas about the cemetery, but it can also continue that conversation online where people who weren't aware of it before can then see it and get engaged with that. And so today we'd like to, we know that this is just one step in the direction that this project will have to take. But we really think that we are on the right path of kind of bringing about a conversation about the cemeteries and their importance in our history, but also kind of what do we need to do to kind of preserve these spaces and how do we think about these spaces? So we'd like to thank you, and we'd like to particularly thank the City of Jackson and Kelly Hoover, who's been a really big help, and everybody at the Parks, Recreation, and Cemeteries Department, and Cliff Lampy, Scott Tenbrink, and Kelly Kowach. Thank you.